Hey, it's me, Omar, doing the same exact workout I did last week. There's nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong with consistency and knowing what you will be doing week to week. It's good to have that all set in. Knowing what you're going to do in general at any given moment or on any given day or throughout any given week or whatever specific time is a really good thing to do, right? You want to keep a schedule or you want to keep some type of mental check, knowing that okay, I'm going to work around this time, I'm going to rest around this time, I'm going to eat dinner around this time, right? Even your meals, you want to even plan out your meals. You want to plan out, maybe let's say you work out and you work out consistently. You want to plan out your workouts. You want to plan out what you're going to do in those workouts. You want to plan out when you're going to work out. You want to plan out when you're going to take a break from usual, like, working or going to school or schoolwork. You want to schedule what type of work you're going to be focusing on. Are you going to be focusing on whatever you have to do at your job, or you're going to be focusing on whatever you have to do at school? You're going to be focusing on your own personal projects or endeavors. You always want to find it. You always want to balance everything out. You always want to find where everything's going to be placed. You always want to see what you're going to be doing, or keeping a checklist, right? I make checklist for myself. I'd say every other day or every couple of days. I have this tiny notebook, and I write in it when I know I'm going to be pretty busy. I write in it and just write off like stuff like, okay, I need to work on this assignment. I need to do this thing when I get home. I need to divide my time up in this way. So it's just a way for me to kind of keep track of what I should be doing, making sure I don't forget anything, making sure I don't put too much time into one thing. But that does usually happen. But you don't have to follow it to a T, but it's good to try and get most of what's on that checklist done, and try and at the end of the day be satisfied that you were being productive, right? Be satisfied that you stuck to something that of course is going to be hard and difficult to sit through, and knowing that you completed it, or you got close to completion, or that you worked on it at all, right? And you actually tried it, and you didn't just like look at it and then maybe put some bull crap on there, and then you just walked away from it and watch Netflix or whatever. So it's a great deal of satisfaction that you get, especially when you go to sleep. When you think about your day and you think about what you did the entire day and how you spent it, right? You want to, when you go to sleep, you kind of want to reflect on what you did throughout that day. And if you kind of like, okay, I did a good amount. I was able to do this. I was able to do that. I was able to take out the trash, wash my clothes, even just chores around the house, right? That's, something nice to think about. Nice knowing that you were being a productive person instead of someone that kind of just sat around that entire day. Especially if you sat around the day before, or the day, 2 days before that, or you know 3 days in a row. All you did was sit around, unless you're sick or whatever. But for the most part, you're probably not sick, and you're probably in good health. Well, you might, in general, the general population technically isn't in good health, but you're physically able and mentally able to do a lot of things that an ill person could not do. So it's very important to hold yourself accountable and to know what it is that you should be working on and what you should be doing. Because 9 times out of 10, when you are doing something that isn't going to be productive towards your own time, in the back of your mind, all you're going to be thinking about is, I should be doing this, whilst you're also being distracted by whatever it is, right? Maybe it's just watching Netflix, or maybe it's scrolling through Instagram, right? I get that. Like, I scroll through Instagram. I have it on my phone sometimes here and there, and I'll just get caught up looking at all the memes. They're very funny. They're always funny. They're always hilarious. And I'm going to end up wasting a bunch of time, more time than I expected. And I'll just kind of, after getting off my phone, I'll just kind of sit there and think like, man, I just wasted, that much time. I just wasted this amount of time. Like I could have been doing this instead. I could have been doing that instead. You know, like sometimes it'll keep me up late just looking at memes, and I'll be like, I literally could have been asleep instead, right? And that's why I don't keep my phone near my bed. I charge I charge my phone at night every night, and I put it on my desk, which is away from my bed, so I'm not just going to turn over and just look at my phone and then get caught up in my phone. So you kind of want to, in a way, limit those distractions as much as you can in order for you to spend your time a lot more productively, like taking off social media apps from your phone, right? Like maybe putting restrictions on your phone, like restricting YouTube, taking TikTok and Instagram off. Limit the amount of time you spend a day or a week on any of these applications, and kind of be mindful as to how you're using them, right? Are you using them or are they using you? Are you just mindlessly consuming content, or are you on each of these applications with some type of purpose or goal to fill out? There's nothing wrong with just like going through these apps casually. There's nothing wrong with just casually watching Netflix. There's nothing wrong with, casually wanting to get on YouTube or scroll on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. But in terms of doing that every day, every passing day, every time you have any type of free time and just spending your time like that, there's no point. And honestly, it's kind of just eating junk food, right? It's more of like junk food to your mind, unless you're getting into these applications with some type of purpose. You know, maybe you're a film student or you're very interested in film, so you want to make sure you watch good quality shows and television and movies on, whatever streaming services. You're some type of content creator, so you want to get a lot more research on how to create content. So you might go through TikTok and Instagram and look at what others are doing, like actively look at what they're doing and learn from it instead of just consuming the content. And then, of course, if you post on a regular basis and you post like good quality content or content that you think is good in quality, then I would say those are very useful ways of using those applications without you being consumed by it, right? And then that way you end up being removed from the guilt, right? You end up removing yourself from the guilt of being like, oh, I could have spent my time a lot more productively. And if you keep yourself some type of checklist, throughout the week or throughout the day, and you go back to that checklist, each time to check off whatever it is you needed to check off, then you're going to get a form of satisfaction from doing hard work, from doing, difficult tasks. Even the fact that you did the task and you finished it, that is so much more gratifying than, worrying about it the entire day or the entire week, because you're putting it off because you would rather do something that's going to be more fun or easier to do, right? So it's just like, how can you have a good time with this thing that you find enjoyable when you have this concern nagging in your mind that can be easily solved if you were to just tackle it right then and there and really focusing on it? And that starts with you realizing your own control and agency you have with your own decisions, and realizing what it is that you have to do or what you're doing. Because if I have to work on some type of story or paper or project, and my phone is right next to me and I have Instagram on it, or I have some type of social media that's just like going to give me instant gratification, without even thinking, I just end up picking up my phone and start scrolling or start looking through, instantly start doing something that's a lot more easier to do. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through this. So again, you have to make some type of limits. You have to make some type of restrictions. Delete whatever apps, restrict whatever apps, and websites as well, just to kind of take away that temptation, right? That automatic temptation that just turns on for whatever reason whenever we have to do something hard, right? You want to get used to doing things that are difficult because how else are you going to progress in the world? If you do everything that is easy, basically you go through life on easy mode, you're not really going to make it anywhere where you would want to be, right? Any type of image that you have in your mind of where you want to be or who you want to be or where you want to go, you probably won't reach those locations anytime soon. If you just go through things passively, you know, you won't reach those locations if you pick up that phone when you're supposed to be doing some type of project, or you're supposed to be working on something personal or something that's productive, or doing chores even, right? So you just kind of have to also realize what you are doing as well. Again, like I said, having your own agency and your own decisions and not being a complete robot, an NPC, a not computer player, ne'er do well, whatever that means. But that's about it, guys. Have a good one.